So in-text citations are the ones in the essay, and MLA makes it kind of confusing because what's on your works cited page is called citations, and then what goes in the essay is called citations. So I'm going to call them in essay citations from now on so that you'll understand and it won't be as confusing. So these are the parentheses. These are parentheses. These are the parentheses that go in the essay to tell you where that particular piece of information came from. And you have to give credit, and this is how you give credit and avoid plagiarism. So there's only two pieces of information that can go in the parentheses. So let's scroll down here. Here is my little works cited page. It's short. But I want to tell you the relationship between the works cited page and what goes in the parentheses in the essay. And that is the first piece of information listed is what goes in the parentheses. So if I were using this particular resource, the thing that would go in the parentheses is the author's last name. It would be Cooper. If I were using this one, it doesn't have an author. It has an article title in quotation marks, so I would be using that. So the first thing listed on the works cited page is what goes in the essay. Now, this is why this is important. If you get it wrong here, it'll be wrong every time you use it in the essay. So there's points off here on the works cited page. Then there's points off every time it's used in the essay. So that is why we strive so hard to get the works cited page correct. So now let's go back up here and explore that relationship. When you use something from an article, if it's a direct quotation, that is when you have copied and pasted it into the essay. You've not made any changes. So you put quotation marks around it. You put who said it, and then here is your in essay citation. Remember, it's the first piece of information listed, so it was the author's last name and location. So you have author last name and location. And location can be para for paragraph, or it can be page for you, a page number. And then you count down on paragraphs and you find out which paragraph that's in and you list it. That's the only two pieces of information that can go in there. Now, if there's not an author, just like this one, then you use the article title in the quotation, article title in the parentheses, just like this one. Remember, two pieces of information has to be article title, and notice it has quotation marks around it even in the parentheses, okay? And then location. Location here is paragraph 3, but it could be page 3, depending. You've got to count down and you've got to figure out, do you have paragraphs or do you have page numbers? Now, that's a direct quotation, Now, if it's a paraphrase and you've just taken information from the article and you've reworded it, you still have to have the citation at the end of the sentence. Not at the end of the paragraph. I see a lot of students just slapping one at the end of a paragraph and going on. That won't work for college. It's the same thing. If I paraphrase this from this particular article, then in the parentheses right here, I put the author's last name and the location, paragraph 3. Now, if there's not an author and I'm paraphrasing it, just like here, I give you an example. MLA can be learned. I paraphrase that. I go back to where that came from. I look at the first piece of information. I put that in the parentheses, and then I put a location, paragraph, whatever number it's in. So a direct quotation is one that's been copied and pasted directly into the essay, and you haven't changed any information. You put quotation marks around it. A paraphrase means you have changed the phrase, and so you have reworded it in your own words, but you still put the citation. I know a lot of high schools are still teaching that if you just paraphrase it, you don't have to put a citation. In college, you still have to use a citation. So here's why I let you practice so often on the works cited page. If you get the first piece of information correct on the works cited page, then you'll get your citations in the essay correct. So the works cited page has to be done first. Getting the works cited page correct means the citations throughout the essay are correct. And so you don't have all those points coming off. Okay, I hope that helps.